Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I went to Somerset Elementary School. I was in first grade and went through the first class to go from first grade to sixth grade, and then through succession, and then to Bel Air Junior High, and then to Laurel Senior High.
All right. And you went to college where?
Oh, yes, sir. I went to college in the University of Maryland, undergraduate degree in finance and investments, and a minor in accounting. And then I have an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration from Drake University.
You are employed now in what capacity?
I'm president of the Kavanaugh Group. The Kavanaugh Group is my company. I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed for 5 years now.
And what kind of employment is this? What is your specialty?
I'm a business consultant. I work in areas of business consulting, business sales and acquisitions. I also do some real estate work.
I see. Now, before that, you were employed with some large corporation, right?
Yes, sir. I was employed by MCI Communications Corporation, headquartered in Washington, D.C. I started employment in MCI in 1980 and was employed there for 7 years.
And what was your, what kind of work was that? Were you in management or what?
Yes, sir, I was in management. I actually started out as an accountant in an accounting area and moved up to supervisor of revenue accounting and then to manager of revenue accounting. And in my capacity as manager of revenue accounting, I had a large staff reporting to me, about 20 people. Then I moved to several other areas in MCI, manager of business analysis, manager of corporate planning and budgets.
I see. Now, I understand that you have been a keen and rather permanent observer of the things that are going on in the city council and the city government for over 3 years.
Yes, sir, that is correct. I've been attending city council meetings for a little over 3 years.
I see. Now tell me, what prompted you to become a more or less permanent member of the city council?
I bought a property in 1988. It's my house. I still live there today. It's in the Kenilworth section on Kavanaugh Lane. That property had to have been one of our 10 most distressed properties in the Bel Air subdivision of Bowie. It had numerous problems, but those are the kinds of real estate that attract me are the kinds of properties that are distressed, that need a lot of fix-up, a lot of work. And I bought one of our most distressed properties and moved into the property.
Are you a handy guy? I mean, is that why you're...
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hang drywall. I can paint. I can do all kinds of...
windows? No, but no, you do all that work. That's very, very interesting.
Yes, sir.
But now, you got into some kind of a fracas or a misunderstanding with the city government?
Well, Mr. Berman, when I bought the property, and remind you, I did not buy this property the way normal people buy real estate. When I took possession of the property, I was greeted with code violations nailed with big, thick nails to the front door of my house. And I thought that was kind of unusual, but it didn't stop there. Several days later, when I moved into the property, I was greeted again by a code officer who informed me I had numerous code violations, all of which I already knew. I mean, I knew it was a distressed property. It was no knowledge to me, but I was informed that I did need to bring the property up to code within 6 months. I was sent something in writing that said it had to be done in 6 months or face fines and incarceration for essentially peeled paint and minor cosmetic type adjustments. But it didn't stop there either. At the same time that I took possession of the property, I had a friend who was going through marital difficulties, and I invited that individual to stay in my house temporarily. And that individual stayed in my property for 7 months. And the city of Bowie has a very narrow definition of what is a rental property. And their definition of a rental property is any property, anybody living in the property that is not on the deed or the title of the property constitutes a rental property.
So if you had a child, that would be a rental property. You're renting the property.
Mr. Berman, that's exactly what I told the city's code office. That means under that definition, about 95% of the houses in Bowie are, in fact, rental properties under that very narrow definition.
Right. All right. So what happened after that? Did you resolve the issue with the city?
No, the city code officer actually communicated all this information to my friend, who communicated to me. I went down there. I had no knowledge of city ordinances or city regulations, so I did it on good faith. I went down to the city code office. I registered the property as a rental property because the code officer told me it was a rental property. At the same time, I paid the rental license fee. I was given the code of Bowie. And I started going through the code of Bowie, and I felt uncomfortable about the whole situation. But I started going through the code, and I realized this is not a rental situation. Something's wrong here. This is just a way for the city to tax me for another $40 for the rental license fee. So I contacted the city manager. I contacted the code office, and I told them that this is not a rental situation. In fact, I actually went before the city manager and asked the city manager to allow me, in writing, to allow me to go before a housing hearing committee, and I got no response from the city manager. I had to write several letters demanding to go before this housing hearing committee to appeal the misclassification of my house as a rental property. Meantime, the city did come out and inspect it. When you're classified as a rental property in the city of Bowie, you come under a certain ordinance of the city of Bowie, which allows the city to come into the interior of your house to inspect the interior of your house. And the city set up an appointment with me. I did this under protest. I told the city manager in writing that I thought that this was a violation of my civil and constitutional rights when city government has to come into my house. And when that occurred, I notified the city that I was allowing the inspection under protest. But when that act occurred, I became a city activist.
I see. So you started attending city council meetings. All right. Tell me, I have never attended a city council meeting, unfortunately. I haven't been in Bowie very long. But how much time does a citizen get to make a presentation of his point of view?
Each citizen is given 3 minutes to present to the council any topic that involves the public welfare.
If a citizen represents a homeowners association, is he still only given 3 minutes?
Oh, absolutely. Citizens representing homeowners association, interested groups of citizens only get 3 minutes.
Just 3 minutes?
Just 3 minutes. That's
but
correct.
A developer coming in and seeking to develop something will get what?
I believe they get 15 minutes. I'm pretty confident that's correct.
They get 15 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Developers get 15. The private citizen gets 3 minutes.
The developer gets a lot of attention for the members of the city council?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there's rebuttal time allowed, questions and answers. It's very a two-way conversation between the developer and the council. That's not the situation with the private citizen. The private citizen is given 3 minutes. There's no rebuttal, no opportunity for the citizens to present their concerns.
You get the feeling that when a citizen of Bowie gets up to make a presentation, that the mayor and the members of the city council are paying attention to what he's saying, by and large? Most
times they're not paying attention, and what I decided to do, because I noticed that they weren't paying attention, was to develop the pop quiz type concept where I would actually put a council person on the spot who I knew wasn't paying attention, who was off doing something else and simply not listening. And that, in my 3-minute presentations, have helped to focus the council on what I've had to say.
All right. And does the council have a sunshine law where things that are made available to members of citizens upon request?
The city has, in the Code of Bowie, a section called Section 13, which states all public records are available for citizens to inspect during the course of normal business hours.